Hello, my name is Oleksandr Konotopskyi.
My name is Alex Lutskiy.
My name is Dmitri Lisitski.
I'm CEO of Ajax Systems.
I'm the co-founder and CEO of Innovecs.
I'm CEO of InnoHub.
We are developing and producing the best alarm systems in the world.
Global outsourcing software development company.
The first person-based advertising platform for B2B.
I'm Olga Afanasieva, CEO of UVCA, and I'll be moderating the talk.
Do we have the crisis or the new opportunities now?
Does your business model require any changes?
Will things get back to normal, or we will face a new reality?
Which business models will be after the lockdown? Register and we will discuss it on June 3rd. Hello everyone, welcome to the CEO Night, the online event powered by the software company Innovecs. And suddenly the things changed almost overnight due to the pandemic. People stopped worrying about their screen time and started even saying the good things about social media, which was the first time actually since Cambridge Analytica. I think everyone who is waiting for things to get back on track is just wasting their time. We're in search of the new framework both for work and for personal life, as well as for the economy, whether we like it or not. And today, we're gathered here with amazing CEOs of international tech companies to talk actually about that. My name is Olga Afanasieva. I'm the CEO of Ukrainian Venture Capital and Private Equity Association, as well as the co-founder of VC Chatroom. And I'm happy to present our distinguished speakers, who is to the right of me, Alex Lutskiy, the software development company Innovecs. He's the co-founder and the CEO. Dmitri Lisitski, the CEO and co-founder of account-based marketing service Influ2, and Oleksandr Konotopskyi, who is the CEO and co-founder of smart security systems Ajax. And let's start with the round of introductions. Can you share more about what you're doing and how this current situation actually impacted you? Like, what are your main insights? Let's start with Oleksandr.
Okay. Our business is the Internet of Things. So we are producing and developing the smart security systems. So it is different type of the hardware, smoke detector, motion detectors, IoT hubs, relays, etc. And we have like three big parts of our business. One part is manufacturing, because we have our own manufacturing, we manufacture the hardware. The part number two is technology creation, because almost everything that we produce we develop in-house. So we have a lot of software developers, hardware developers, radio engineers, etc. And the business unit who do the sales, who do the people who do the sales, people who do the marketing, procurement, etc. Our systems is mostly installed in the people's homes. So as people sitting at home and people don't want anyone from outside to come to their homes, we see the quite big drop in sales. So in the regions where there is a strict lockdown, impact is quite bad for us. We are losing around 90% of sales, 90. In the regions where lockdown is not very strict, for example, like in Ukraine, where we don't have a severe situation, or in Scandinavia, our business almost as usual, we may lose like 15, 20 to 30%. Right now, we don't have any special plan for the pandemic situation, because we are not sure that the pattern of consumption will be changed. So it is too early to make a statement that market will be like this forever. So we are waiting, we are checking the trends. We see that even now a lot of markets become to recover. Ajax sales, actually we have in more than 90 countries, like 94, 97 countries worldwide. The main market for us is the European Union. Actually, this territory is heavily affected by the pandemic, especially Spain and Italy. But even during the coronavirus, we closed deals with the new Italian distributors. We have new leads from the United Kingdom, which is also in a heavy lockdown. But for sure, we are waiting for the situation, how it will develop. So till the September, we don't have any plan to change our business model. We don't have any plan start producing ICU instead of alarm systems or coronavirus detectors instead of alarm system. Till the September, nothing will be changed. The average drop for us now like 40 to 50% of our global sales. As the lockdown, they appeared randomly. So not the whole world is locked the same way. Yeah. So the bottom line, nothing good for us is happening from the business point of view, but we have some free time to make the homework, to finish the R&D, to prepare the more products, to make our business more effective, to work on a process improvement, to work on costs. And considering that the couple of the last years we were growing quite fast, we have a lot of mess inside of our company. So frankly speaking, we even happy to have like 2-3 months to make our processes better, to work on a team, etc.
Thank you for sharing. Dmitri, what can you say about?
Yeah, so yeah, for us it's a kind of great time, because obviously we are trying to reinvent digital advertising for B2B, and now is kind of the right time to do it for many of our clients. So they don't have, you know, traditional field marketing, offline marketing is just doesn't exist anymore, and will not exist for a while. So like we'll see how long, but definitely not in the coming like 6 months. So they're trying to find new ways how to deliver their messages to the target audiences and try new things. And obviously we are one of like the solutions that is very well positioned for this. And additional to this, we see a lot of, again, like a lot of situations where people struggle, you know, like all the salespeople became inside sales. So they do sales remotely. So traditional channels, which is like email or, you know, like email marketing, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff, is also like filled by, you know, new requests, new people trying to do sales. So actually traditional digital channels are not performing that good anymore because of the same reason. So everybody switched from field marketing, offline marketing to online marketing, and everybody switched from offline, you know, sales like field sales to online sales. And now all the traditional channels, like even in digital, is is not performing as good as it was like a couple of months before. So we see a very strong demand for our product. And like March was amazing for us. We grew like 40% 1 month in terms of revenue, and we just continue growing.
Yeah. Can you tell more about your services that you provided?
Yeah. So basically, we try to reinvent digital advertising for B2B. Specifically, we believe that what traditional advertising platforms offering for B2B is not working well. It was great for e-commerce, still great for e-commerce, consumer marketing, but B2B struggle using like traditional like Facebook, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. So we kind of built on top of traditional platforms, and we deliver our messages directly to the prospective customers. So you can actually run a campaign targeting your CRM list of people, and then see what happened on person by person level. And then essentially you approach digital advertising in the way you do it for email marketing or for sales. So it's pretty much the same process as you do for like sales and email marketing. You can do the same in terms of advertising.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Alex, what about your business and the market? How is the situation?
Right. So basically, Innovecs, we are a software development outsourcing company. I always say our main expertise, we're not a product company. Our main expertise, we know how to engineer software for the product company, right? That's kind of our main asset, what we're trying to do. And I think because we're in the service business, right, we probably lucky because we diversify across different industries, right? And I think as we discussed prior to discussion, let's say it's not because we're doing something that no one else right now just figure out how to do it. We probably maybe got some kind of luck working in industry that we're not that much impacted, right, compared to other industry. So, and but I think for us right now, let's say for the service business, right, as it kind of was coming pretty much from commodity business, right? I think right now it's actually not a good opportunity, but actually it's another opportunity to really to reconsider, right, moving into more service-driven company. I mean, that's what Innovecs has been doing in the last, let's say, 5 years. We're trying to really be expert in the service that we actually offer to our clients. And if we take COVID-19 situation, like I said, probably we have not been that much impacted from the financial standpoint, but at the same time, I think it's a good, I would say, good reset, right? For the founder, for me as the founder of the company, right? But also for the whole company, to really sit down, take a pause, and really figure out, you know what, everything I have been doing for the last, let's say, 5 to 7 years, is that really still a value to our clients, right? Maybe for the money that we charge today, we can offer something that we provide a different value, and that will also create some kind of competitive advantage, right? For the companies we're working with, right? And for the clients that we offer those services today. So I think that's what pretty much in the station we are.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Definitely this, like, let's say, crisis situation is not the first in the history of your business activity. And like during the recent years, we had some particular difficulties in the global level. For example, in 2008-9, we had the global financial crisis that hit all the markets, especially financial sector. And at that time, everyone was talking about the importance of preventive crisis management, about like, you know, building the contingency planning, crisis plans, and so on. Did you do something like that for your businesses? And like the first part of the question. The second is maybe some like lessons you've learned in the previous crisis situations you use now, and they helped you to, you know, to keep the scenes stable. Anyone want to start?
No, I think I actually got this question from my previous panel. I don't think the company can really be prepared for the crisis, right? Because I think if you're always sitting waiting for the crisis, let's say, I don't think you can really grow, right, the business, because you're always kind of in a situation that to be scared, right? I think for any entrepreneur, right, let's say, you have to be really be more you know, kind of proactive, aggressive with things we do. I think the only question, let's say, when the crisis comes in, the question, let's say, that if you have skills to manage it, because skills to manage the company that's growing, or skills that you have to be on the market that is growing, right? It's a one side of the business, right? But the skills, let's say, that you have to apply when everything is really bad, right? What we call anti-crisis management, right? That's also a difficult part. And I think for any company that it's not about to be, I mean, of course we can say that we have to, you know, introduce a lot of different things, let's say, like anti-crisis management, like, I don't know, like risk redundancy. I mean, everything that we all kind of read in the books. That's kind of yes, but at the same time, right, when the crisis comes in, right, you have to be flexible enough to make decisions right on the spot, which will help to sustain your business, right, going forward. So for our company, of course, we do a lot of stuff, let's say, that will minimize the impact if something will happen. But I think we can really predict the future, right, and do something, let's say, that will create like in a full kind of deal station. I think what we do right now, we basically say in the last couple of months, we're really looking at what we call anti-crisis management. We've found the ways that will help us to sustain the business financially. I think that's number one, right? And at the same time, we're also kind of in a slow mode, thinking more strategically what we can do after the crisis is over, right? To be, maybe not number one, but to kind of grow up in a level of the company that we currently can.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, maybe some specific.
I can jump in. So actually, we had a very interesting conversation with one of investors, and they asked why you're running your company so conservatively. We are a startup essentially because we launched our product like 3 years ago, and they asked why. I mean, like you don't burn so much cash, and you're so much focused on profitability and revenue and customer acquisition, and we clearly run our company in a very lean way. We don't burn a lot of cash on like as many startups do. And my answer was like very simple. Hey, I remember 2008. I remember dot-com boom, and I mean we kind of, this is the third time in my life where I face a crisis, and essentially I have this crisis management learnings from previous situations. So, and that's kind of mindset. So we essentially build our company in the way that we can become profitable anytime. Obviously, as a startup, you want to grow fast and you want to burn cash, but at the same time, you should be prepared for like black swans, like we have right now. And I think this is very core to those who witnessed like previous crises.
But is it possible to be immune from this crisis situation?
Well, I think the main immunity is about mindset. So I think the real immunity is about how you plan your future, right? So there's I think the main idea that we have is that we don't know what will happen. We just have a couple of very broad scenarios that we consider, including terrible ones, and then we kind of prepare to follow any scenario, whatever happens. Even in like perfect world that we used to have like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, even at that moment we had like situation like okay, what happens if like we don't have any customers for like how much time we will survive. So we still have this kind of plans in our head, despite the fact probably it's kind of very unlikely situations, but this is how you plan your future, right? You just consider like very different scenarios.
Thank you. Do you have this contingency planning from the past?
Actually, we live in a total crisis all the time. So this is our preparation plan. And I think it is a strong side from the entrepreneurs from the emerging markets, because we always live in this turbulence. If the global markets are okay, we have a local impact because somebody new was elected, with a lot of reasons, yeah. So we have a lot of challenges in Ukraine which you don't have, even for example in Poland, yeah. And for sure we remember 2014. And after 2014, we made the decision to build an international company. So before 2014, Ajax, it was just local manufacturer, which was like 100 times smaller comparing to what we have now. And I always tell you that crisis was the best time for me because it changed my mind. It really changed my mind, and even now it is a new challenge. The last year we were growing like twice. And we have the months when we need to scale like 20 to 30% from month to month. So we hired like 100 people per month. And I will say that was a crisis. So now it is cutting the jobs. It is much easier than growing 30% month to month in hardware business, because company is changing everywhere. So the new year came. Last year I have another challenge. Now I have this challenge. Anyway, I must have high tolerance to the risk. And because someone in this world must have high tolerance for the risk. And this is actually what makes it different between entrepreneurs and not entrepreneurs. The amount of risk you want to take on your shoulders. And if it is okay, if live in risk is okay for you, you don't have any crisis. It's just life and it's just a challenge. It was 2008, 2014, 2020, 2026 will be the same. So even when I don't have the crisis, I usually arrange this crisis inside my company or inside my life. So I'm fully comfortable with this. But for sure, what Dmitri just mentioned, the habit to save the money on a bank account. If you can get the prepayment, it is better to get the prepayment. If you can burn less, it is better to burn less. So it is like after the World War II, people for a long period of time, they were saving some bread and meshes, etc. The same with Ukrainian entrepreneur. Ukrainian entrepreneur understands that you never know. You never know.
This is a good point to our further discussion about why emerging market, why this creative soul can be a good partner on the global arena, but we will talk about it later. As business leaders, you have a lot of clients abroad, not only in Ukraine, and definitely you've been traveling quite often, talking to your clients and partners. So how did you manage this routine remotely? Alex, maybe?
Yeah, sure. No, I think with the existing clients, it's kind of easier because I think in B2B business, right, the most important piece is the partnership and relationship, right? Because that's how you build the business. So for existing clients, because we already have a relationship, it's much easier. It's like with your wife. Let's say if you already know her, right? Even if she's remote, you can continue at some time communicate, right? Not for a long time, of course. With the clients, something. Let's say if you already build a relationship, let's say, right, they have to be very close every day to resolve any type of problems or situation. So I think with these clients, I think we're doing okay. We're on a Zoom constantly, right? I think that works very well, right? I think the new clients, it's a little bit challenging because if we take our company, right, kind of our main asset, besides that, of course, we sell the expertise and a bunch of other services. Let's say our main asset, right? But we sell to our new clients is our company corporate culture, right, and the spirit that we actually and the transparency of the partnership, right? That kind of stuff, I would say, it's very difficult to sell over the Zoom because then you become like, I think when you sell over the Zoom, whatever you do, right, it becomes more like a commodity, right? It's because anything can do that, right? So if they go to your website or talk to someone over the Zoom and you're kind of sitting, let's say, in front of your kitchen, right, and trying to sell something, right, it's very difficult because you cannot really expose, the feeling, right, the values, right, the culture, right, that usually potential client potentially might buy. Because when I talk to my existing clients, when I ask them, for example, questions, say, what actually triggered you to pick Innovecs, right? It's not always like expertise becomes like the first keyword, right? Sometimes expertise comes second, right? First, let's say, right, the ability to build very like open, transparent partnership. And I think that's one of the pieces that we are right now missing, that we cannot sell this over the Zoom. And I think like whatever Zoom or new software will become on the market, right? I think you can really translate your emotional feelings, right, over the digital transformation. So I think for us, for new clients, right, I think we expect, let's say, that travel will be resumed, right, and we'll be able to travel to our clients, and clients will be able to travel to us, right. We can continue to build that relationship, right, in a more, I would say, normal way, right. So, but that's how it works right now.
Anyone want to add?
Build our product. My previous business was actually IT services as well, so I learned how hard it is. And when I was thinking what to do next, I was thinking about something I can easily sell over Zoom. Competitors cannot replicate easily. So it should be unique enough and value proposition should be clear enough. And in the ideal world, that customers can use it without even talking to us. And that's exactly what we built. So for us, it's kind of slightly easier situation. Actually, we enjoy it. And that's how we built our sales. So our all sales is inside sales team. And obviously, we still, can't avoid, especially when we speak about larger clients. They want to talk to us, and sometimes we meet and that kind of stuff. But it's not the core of our, product offerings, core of our relationship. It's more kind of on top, cream on top that they provide to our clients, on top of the cake that they can eat every day without even talking to us. So for us, it's slightly easier.
So, but actually, you believe that there will be less business traveling after the lockdown period?
Yeah, I think many practices will change, and I think many will we learned that you don't need to meet people to trust them. You can, even investors like allocate, investments without, personally meeting, people and that kind of stuff. So I think this is a new learning experience for everybody. When things get back to normal, I think this new normal will be different versus what we used to have before. So essentially, even like just sitting and waiting until things get back to normal probably is not the right strategy, because the normal that we used to know will never come back again.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Alexandr?
And from my point of view, I have an opposite opinion to Dmitri. From my point of view, people do the business travelings because they like the travelings. And Zoom, it's not necessary as our full life. So just imagine you are removing emotions and energy from everything, from your private life, from the business, and then there is a question, do I need this life? And what I see from our business, we also do like a lot of B2B sales. For sure, we use a lot of digital tools, and we are focused on digital tools, and we are in few customer, and we like Zoom calls before the pandemic, etc. But when I want to close a deal, I'm buying a ticket and flying to Buenos Aires. So, because I understand, if I will be in Buenos Aires and my competitor will not be in Buenos Aires, I will win this deal. So, I'm begging that all my competitors, they will proceed selling via Zoom, and we will travel for sure as soon as it will be safe, and we will understand that it's safe enough. We will start business traveling immediately. And before the lockdown, the half of my time I was spending with my team to developing the solutions, and the half of my time I was with the customers because I was listening to the customers, and I was looking for the new ideas. And for me, I really believe that during the next couple of months, it will come back to normal, and the active sales, it will come back, and the active meetings, it will come back. Because people enjoy the people, and people, they're really much more important from my point of view in a B2B business, even comparing to the product. Because in B2B, people very often, especially if you have a very big deal, when you are selling to corporation which have, for example, 20,000 of people, and you're selling to such a size of the corporation, the top management, they didn't even touch your product. They just have a meeting with you and they make a decision. They like these people or they don't like, because all the prices will be the same, all the specs, they will be the same, but the people are different, and that is what I'm meeting. And Ajax was investing before the pandemic and will be investing after the pandemic more and more in the local teams to have more people in the field, because I really believe that this energy, it was the business, and for sure I really enjoy this life. I don't want to my life become very logical, without any emotions, without energy. It will be a very, very boring life.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Oleksandr, how did you care about the wellness level of the mental condition of your employees? Because for some it can be like stressful to go to work every day, to take like taxis or whatever. Did you pay attention to that factor, and how did you manage that?
For sure, in all our territories, when we have the presence, we do everything according to the governmental requirements. And if, for example, we are speaking about the factory, like people who in a risk group, 50-year-old plus, so we didn't make a risk group 60 or 65, 50-year-old plus with or people with heavy health diseases, they moved to the remote. All other people, they are allowed to work. For sure, we have the sanitizers, we have automatic temperature screening, we have temperature screening during the day for the case if someone took a pills in the morning. We arranged our own transportation, etc. So, as well as part of the people, I think in Ajax in March it was like 900 people, and around 200 people, they were absent from the office. So in this case, the space was bigger. In the office, people they have the masks even now, and they must use the mask in the office. So all the standard things. As you understand, the lockdown is very different in different countries. For example, even in north of Italy, the factories they were working during the lockdown because the coronavirus it has shown a big impact on the people's health. But what we see already in a number of countries that economic situation and absence of the medicine for a wide range of people, it brought more deaths comparing to what happened with the coronavirus. So in this case, I think that it is important to understand the balance, and we see the Sweden scenario without any lockdown, the country is okay, yeah, and we see other scenarios, yeah. So I think it will be a great topic for the analysis. What was good for the health, what decisions were good, what decisions were bad, but still Ajax as a company is on a very small level, so we don't see the full picture. That is why we are listening to the government, we are listening to what they're telling us, they see better.
Yeah, thank you. Let's continue talking about the changes in your business routine. As the CEOs, did you came up with some creative ways for team building to have these people start within your company? Maybe you can share something. Dmitri.
So it's kind of funny because even before the quarantine, we had basically voluntary, attendance of our offices. So you don't have to go to office every day or spend specific 8 hours. So it's totally up to you how much time you spend in the office. And I was actually my initial idea was okay, so nothing changes for us because people will just spend more time home, which is pretty much fine. But then I realized that this kind of people still used to go to work every day and talk to each other, and it's not happening anymore. And essentially what we did is there are some people that I personally didn't see for a couple of months now. So I just wanted everybody to see each other, and then kind of share the energy and talk to each other and that kind of stuff. So we did kind of what we called virtual town hall. So we, before that, I was just sharing what's happening in the company without any formal process around it. And now we did it kind of half formally. So actually I did a presentation explaining what's going on with us and what's happening, stuff like that. And also we made it very funny. So we want people to laugh and to enjoy, spending time with each other over Zoom, but still it's kind of better than nothing. And it worked very well. I think everybody enjoyed it and we'll definitely do it again.
It's a good thing. Thank you for sharing. Something else to share?
I think in our company, I think we haven't done anything very special. I think pretty much it's been only 2 months, right? Didn't really have enough time to a lot of creativity to make, right? But I think one thing we did is that besides, of course, we moved everything to Zoom, right, and kind of made a lot of changes right on the spot because, especially when we onboard people and they're working from home, right? I think we start to change all our process to be able to do it again over remotely, right? But I think one thing we did is in our company we call VOW program. It's a wellness at work. It's a not financial incentive or benefits to our employees. And I think that actually we move very quickly to kind of online mode, and because in that wellness at work we have our fitness coaches, yoga classes, a lot of kind of stuff, right? So that kind of everything move online, right? And people were able to do whatever yoga, fitness, basically kind of continue to working from home, right? So that will change, right? But again, I think as we'll just discuss, right? Of course, we can move things to online, but that's not what long term will survive, right? I think it's a temporary solution, maybe solution to balance that, right, between work and home. That's fine, but if you want to build a big company, right, they want to build a big dream, right, and have people to feel that, I think they have to be part of the, not the office physically, but they have to be part of the company. Because otherwise, let's say if you're just working from home, I think it's at some point, right, the value that particular company will offer, I think it will just disappear, because basically if you're working from home, it doesn't matter. Let's say I work for Ajax, Influ2, or Innovecs, it'll be pretty much kind of the same at some time. I feel that it's like we always discuss about the work-life balance, right? Now it has to be work from home balance, right? It's something, let's say, that you benefit, you enjoy, but at the same time it doesn't impact the company and doesn't impact the employees.
Yeah, so it's definitely Zoom, but what other changes have you seen in using technology with the start of outbreak? And were those changes just something that accelerated within 2 months, but like in normal situation, it would, like more or less be the same in 2 years? Or it was something like radically new and you did not expect you would need this technological something? And do you think it would stick? Do you have any thoughts regarding this?
Yeah, well, I think obviously we kind of very much focused our attention towards marketing, and I wouldn't say that we see a lot of new tools that appeared over the last couple of months. Obviously, you cannot build something totally amazing very quickly, but I think we will see some newcomers on the market in the next like 6 to 12 months, which is like normal time that we need to build something meaningful. And then I think what's really happening is not that new tools or new technologies appear, but actually the switch of like people just reconsider how they use what they used to use before. And some of them just forced to do it. Some of them is just, it's kind of, from one end, it's just like a clear push from the reality that you have to try new things, because otherwise, like your business can be really affected. But also, it's just people just spend time thinking about things that never had time to think before, which is great. So it's kind of a lot of like creativity is not coming from just meetings. It's also coming from the time that you spend silent thinking. And I think now is a lot of silent thinking for people. So I believe that we will see a lot of both kind of new tools, new technologies coming in, but also people just like we see very radical digitalization of marketing right now, and technologies that used to we have seen for like 5-10 years on the market still not adopted well will get like radical adoption over the next couple of months, and people just start using what they thought they had to try, thought they have to think about, but never actually had time to do it.
Yeah.
Just to add to this, right? I think for us, let's say, what we did is basically, if we touch, for example, business development marketing, because for us, in the B2B business development marketing, we always thought it's all offline, right? Because that's how you build. And I think now we kind of, I was always kind of in the past, let's say, probably what we have been doing, right? It's kind of outdated, right? I think what that happened, it was kind of more, I guess, power to say, stop. Let's think about, maybe we have to do something different. And let's say we touched the marketing side, for example, let's say we move kind of from digital marketing to account-based marketing, right? Something new for us, right? We never tried that, even though it exists, let's say 2 years ago, but we never tried because we kind of copy-paste what everyone has been doing, right? And we use like PowerPoint presentation because that's what everyone does, right? Except maybe Amazon, right? Because they don't use PowerPoint presentation. And now we move to interactive presentation, right? Because something new, right? So basically, I think we kind of push to change the mindset of whole marketing department. So let's do something different, right? And I think now we kind of stop everything we like, for example, we did, let's say in February, let's say doing completely different stuff. I think this like a COVID-19, or what we call crisis, let's say, I think it's always a good opportunity, right, to really do something different and think differently, right, and maybe find ways, let's say, that make your company more effective, maybe more attractive. I think that's what we're doing right now. And again, I think we also did some kind of segmentation, because we understand, let's say, we go to enterprise business, right? Enterprise, regardless, right? I think what Alex said, let's say, enterprise is all about offline sell, because when you go to top manager, he doesn't care what kind of product will be used, right? How much it costs, right? It's about relationships. So for enterprise, it's offline. Mid-size, right? Small business, right? Probably digital, right? Because there's no point to go, right? You can actually sell that digitally. But if you want to go to big clients, I think you can use marketing, right, to make brand awareness of your brand. But if you want to close the deal, You have to jump on a plane, fly over there, right? Take him for the drink, right? And close the deal.
Let's see how it goes further. Okay, so the corona outbreak is also the time to realize that 99% of the world's intelligence doesn't live in like Silicon Valley or San Francisco, and you can tap into the world's talent pool 24/7 around the clock. And a company can be truly inclusive because standards are objective and you give people to achieve their best in the way that is comfortable to them. So can this situation that we are living in and will continue be further impact our cooperation with the world markets? I mean, like of the emerging markets and others one. Is it becoming easier since all business communication goes online, at least for a certain period? What do you think about it? If we jump on like a bigger level of the country.
I think, again, as we, as probably like that, as everything is getting changed, right? I think the meaning of the emerging markets probably also will be changed. I think we ask ourselves, say, what is the emerging market for us? I think I won't say, let's say we are in the emerging market. I think basically any of us here sitting here, we're all driving like global companies, right, across the globe, right? We're offering services or products that not specific to emerging market, right? So I think for me, like we're saying, let's say in the future, let's say there will be no borders, right? Will be like one global wall, right? And I think in the business, from the business perspective, let's say I feel it's that emergence, right, eventually will go away. And I think if you have a great idea, right, if you're a great entrepreneur, right, and you're aggressive, right, you have a great product or service, go for it and do it. I think no one's going to stop you because you're coming from emerging market, right? Of course, there's always maybe more opportunities, right, like raising money, right, and if you actually not an emerging market. But I think today, I just feel it's that in the next 5 to 10 years, it's not about like very physically like it. It's all about what you do, how you do, and how you manage.
Yeah, I agree. So I think borders are really it's just in your mind. So they don't really exist, and especially now when like people can't even travel anyway. So there's no like offline communication, offline meetings. Like there's no borders. I mean, like they just don't. I mean, like how can you draw the border between countries right now? They just don't exist. When you think from business perspective. So essentially, we like there's no emerging markets, or it's just like emerging people or emerging companies, because countries vanished in the digital world, and we see it over and over again. And like I think the tries that we have seen like a couple of years before of like new currencies coming on the market is very. I mean, like they didn't succeed so far, but it was a very strong signal that online world it's somewhere outside of control of countries and borders, and this world needs new money, needs new type of people and that kind of stuff, and it's coming in. It's again like it's not something that happened today. We see it happening over the last 10 years or 20 years. So now what really happened is it just like we moved to this digital world faster than we wanted, and in a very unexpected way, but we just face it. And I think it's great opportunity. So for me, the amazing model that I was always thinking about is like Israel. So because like a very funny example, we always target the US-based companies, and we mostly sell in the US. But I think around 25% of our clients are actually in Israel. Not because we wanted to target Israel, but because when we targeted US-based companies, we didn't realize actually it was Israeli companies. And then they just told us, hey, you should talk to our marketing team, which is based in Tel Aviv, which is great. So I think the guys had this global aspiration for a while, and I think for Ukraine, it wasn't there like until probably 2014. Or maybe 2008. So there was like pushes for us to stop thinking about just your country and just think globally. And I think there's no excuses for everybody to build global products and just don't think about borders anymore.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Oleksandr, maybe you add something to that point.
from my point of view, the lockdown is playing against the globalization. So if the lockdown will be continuing, we will see that the local businesses they will be more powerful. As well, we will see the drop in costs. So businesses and consumers they will be able to buy less goods, less services, etc. Because obviously economy will be dropped down. And in this case, what emerging markets now playing, what role for the developed countries? We are speaking about cutting costs. We are speaking about more efficient development, R&D. We are speaking about the new talents. And if the economy is shrinking, so all we need the less services, etc., nothing good will happen, because all the places, all the chairs, they will have the local sitters. And our friend from Jubal, he told Roman, he told that, for example, in Germany now people are looking for the seasonal job, like gathering the strawberries. So before, all the jobs they were occupied by the people outside of the European Union, yeah. And now the German, the local people, they are looking for the local job because they just don't have any job. And all people in Spain, they have their own small restaurants in Marbella, and now they have only 900 euro from the government, so they don't have any money to buy the food for their dog. And this is like the reality. But for sure, if we can't share the knowledge, if we can't see the people, the globalization will slow down. And this is bad from everything. For example, even developing the medicine, the pills against the COVID, it needs tight interactions between the doctors worldwide, sharing the information, etc., etc. So we are slowing down the R&D in medical domain, as well in airspace, because now the world is divided not by the countries. The world is well divided by clusters, which are tightly connected between the countries. For example, like if you're doing the IT business, you are coming to Tel Aviv, you are coming to New York, you are coming to London, to Hong Kong, you will speak with the people with the same language. If you're doing the virtual servers or IoT, you are like living in one country which do the software, which do the IoT, and it is important not to lose this, because from my point of view, the speed of the development of humanity, if you will see how the GDP growing for the last years, the world GDP, what amount of new services you have now. For example, in Flu or Ajax, it is impossible. Innovecs, it is impossible to be born in like 30 years ago, because we didn't have so much technology, we did not have so much challenges. Why software outsourcing is hot in Ukraine? Because all the people in the world, they do the software, because it is a new universe, and we were building the physical universe for the couple of thousands of years, and now we're building the same universe by the digital for the number of years, for tens of years. That is why a lot of people must be involved. So for me, everybody will lose, like everybody, every human in the world, they will lose from
globalization, basically.
Yep.
And just to add, like I think what Dima said, let's say, I think what I've seen for me being in Ukraine for the last 8 years, I think it's not about emerge market or company from emerge market. I think it's more about emerge market mindset. I think once you kind of when that emerging market mindset goes away, you become global. And I think if you look at the Ukraine, let's say maybe we'll have so many like successful companies, not because we're doing something that we cannot do something, let's say, that other company cannot do. I think it's all about, let's say, the mindset. Because once you go global, right, you have to have a different mindset, right? So you have to. It's a different sales pitch. It's a different. Everything is different. I think that's probably what I say. For me, let's say emerging market is more about emerge mindset. I think the faster you take that emerge mindset away from you, the faster you become global and successful.
Yeah, that's interesting point too. And if talking about the place where we spend a lot of our time currently, Ukraine, what Ukraine can offer to the global community? What are our main, like strong sides, benefits? Alexander already mentioned some of these issues at the beginning. Let's, like give people who have emerging mindset more arguments towards why Ukraine. Tech pool, something else?
Like a lot of reasons. Yeah, a lot of reasons. Because Ukraine is unvalued. You have a lot of people with very good education, creative people, everything starting from the software. But now we have design outsourcing in Ukraine, now we have hardware outsourcing in Ukraine, mechanical design. So engineering is quite strong and solid, and people speaking, oh, it will be finished tomorrow, USSR engineering school in the past. No, it's just growing. Each year we have a huge growth of the people who do this engineering, and I will say in our domain is like first class engineering. I will say that, for example, I was looking to hire some people in Taipei for the hardware, but when we started to compare, we find out that we don't need to go to the Taipei. We have enough people in Ukraine. We just need to give a space and give a playground to all these young people who are very smart, who are very fast, etc. And for example, a number of years ago, I was telling that Ukrainian sales guys are total shit. That like US sales guys, UK sales guys, and Ukrainian sales guys are total shit. But now I have changed my mind. For sure, if we are speaking about English-speaking countries, it's hard if their native language is English and you are coming, doesn't matter where you came from Italy, from Ukraine, it doesn't matter. For sure the local sales guy will be much better to any outside. But if we are speaking about the global sales, well, you are targeting, we see that a lot of people already know how to do the B2B business development. They are very customer oriented, they don't sleep, they don't eat, customer on the first place, etc. They're very comfortable from the customer all over the world. Just came to Kyiv and you will meet everything. A good people, nice people, a good party, a lot of fun, people who are business oriented, and I believe this will happen with Innovecs, with Influ2, and for sure with Ajax. Just become our customer and you will meet amazing customer experience, I promise you. So, as well with the marketing, Alex has developed a global solution and we are using this solution, and I didn't find something similar in the world. We are using this solution not because Dmitri is Ukrainian founder. Yeah, we are using because he is effective and is very suitable for the global sales. And how it is possible, so the market in Ukraine also not bad. So from my point of view now, we even not speaking about the price decrease. We are speaking that there are not so many places in the world where you can find people who can build the product and who can build the business on a certain level. And if, at the moment they have the possibility to choose any country in the world to proceed doing our business. We are not connected with the sales to Ukraine. The costs also growing up. For example, in Poland, you will have almost the same cost, but still I'm proceeding to invest in Ukraine, and I believe there is the best possible option right now.
Thank you. That's very inspiring. Do you have something to add, maybe?
Yeah, I think for me, if we touch the Ukraine, let's say, there's like what usually say, let's say, like big company don't create innovation, right? Small company create innovation, then big company usually acquire those innovation, right? I think because Ukraine is very young industry, right? Let's say if you touch anything we do, right? It's very young, and at the same time, Ukrainian businesses are not too kind of corporated, right? So it means, let's say, we're not very regulated, right? What we can, what we cannot do, right? If you check, for example, any big corporation, there's a lot of regulation that kind of allow you or not allow you to do. I think in Ukraine right now, basically, say, it's a lot of flexibility to be innovative, and I think if you're looking for company, right, you're looking for people that not kind of very not kind of sitting in the box, right, but thinking out of the box. Maybe Ukraine right now, it's not, Ukraine could be a good country, right, to be chosen, right? Because people, never work in a big corporation. They were kind of open, unregulated, right? Sometimes it's not good, right? But sometimes actually it's very good because then you're thinking out of the box. So I think that's what today probably most of the company looking for, because even with our company, we used to going for like big logos, right? Because if someone works for like a big logo, that means it's good. Now we actually changed that habit. We're looking for people that never touch the big logo, because then they actually think in a different way, right? They're more proactive, they're more aggressive, they're more innovative. I think maybe it's a good right now opportunity for Ukraine to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah, this is an interesting point. The most important thing to keep people and companies together is definitely trust. Is like a glue, yeah, to keep these relations. And what are your recommendations on building and keeping the trust for the partners from emerging markets and definitely beyond? Like when you don't spend much time together in person, like how to keep the trust? Maybe some exampple from your experience.
Nobody knows. Yeah, I have a question. I have a question to Alex. Alex moved from the United States, and is regarding the last question. And why that time did you choose Ukraine?
The true or like the real reason or not the real reason? The reality was, let's say, because I used to travel to Ukraine a lot. I think basically Global Logic, right? I was a client of Global Logic. Yeah, I used to be. So I was a client for Global Logic for like 5 or 6 years, and then when I kind of finished all the corporate involvement in American corporate, right? So they basically offered me like 1-year contract to move to Kyiv, and I think at that time, nothing stopped me, right? So that's going to end up to be in Kyiv, not like I purposely came here. And then that's what happened. So it's not like I was going to. I mean, I'm originally from Ukraine too. I'm from Kharkiv, so. And I think it was. I think it also was like emotional sell. I came to Kyiv. I met Roman, who I knew before. He took me to this new office in Protasov Yar. At that time, that was like the only office in the whole country that was different from Soviet Union time, right? And I came to that office. I was very, very amazed. I always say, even today, let's say, when I talk to different people, say, because in our company, even though we're a service company, we're trying to sell brand and emotion, because I believe in emotions, right? And at that time, Global Logic basically sold me not because like I knew anything about this company, but the emotion was very positive. When I came back, I came back to New York, so I met the CEO, say, you want to go? I say, I'll go. So basically, the office itself was one of the reasons like why I because it just felt, let's say, like completely different, even to compare what I saw back in the United States. And I think in today, let's say in our company, when I work with marketing, they know like, everything we do, I believe only in emotion. Because I used to work with the chief marketing officer in one of the company called Ipsos, one of my company that actually was the client of Global Logic. And they gave me like very good reason how people choose what they buy. So so if you go to a supermarket, right, and you want to buy toothpaste, right, because it's a big stand of this, right? So either you look at the brand or at the at the cover. You don't read ingredients, right, of the toothpaste. You buy that. Of course, you take it home, right? You try it. If it's not good, you're not going to buy it anymore, right? But you don't buy because of the ingredients. You just buy because of the emotion. So I'm a big believer that in the B2B, especially like Ajax, right? Ajax sometimes I'm not really good with the security stuff. The only reason like I choose Ajax and something else because it just looks good, right? I'm not gonna read this whole thing, the whole manual. Say connect this, you connect that, 1G, 3G. I'm gonna buy because it's looking good. Of course, if I buy, then it sucks, right? I'm gonna buy because it's reputation. But initially, it's all about the emotional thing, especially in the B2B business, right? And then of course everything else. So that's kind of more than why I moved to Kyiv, but I like Kyiv. Like I said before, when I was coming as a client, I had a lot of good time.
So is it a real reason or official reason that you moved to Kyiv?
No, the official reason was because I was invited by Global Logic to move to Kyiv, but I didn't.
They also invited you to go to India, right?
Yeah, and you have mentioned that now you even have an Indian customer. And all we know that on a global scale, yeah, the United States is tightly connected with India software. And when we look on rates for the developers, the salaries in Ukraine much higher comparing to India, but you still win the project. So it's interesting why this is happening.
I think it's also perception with people say, oh, India cheaper, Ukraine more. I think it's always like, it's like in your guys' business. So if you compare apple to apple, then it's probably the same. I think the reason that we went with the India company, again, because of the relationship, reputation, and emotion. Because the guy, the CEO of the company, who came here, let's say, 6 years ago, because he was a friend of one of our clients, he saw us 6 years ago and said, you know what, if I got the opportunity to work with you, I'll work with you. Then in 6-7 years now, he's the second largest training platform in India. And when he decided to scale up, he decided to go to Ukraine, to Innovecs. That's it. So it's not because we're so great like in doing like, you know, some kind of engineering, right? It's just all about, again, back to emotion, back to reputation, back to, you know, relationship. That's it. So that's what I'm a big believer. I believe say that's what drives your business. And of course, you have to keep up your product, right, and quality of the product. We should say actually, you know, match the brand.
So let me rephrase then my previous question about the trust. We were talking a lot, you were mentioning a lot the relationship. Let's talk like how do you build relationship with your clients, with your partners? What like, you know, like interesting tips and tricks are you using for that? How do you make them fall in love with your company?
I think it's a very good. It's a question like people always ask. It's like how, like what you have to do to be a good sales guy, and always say you have to be born to be a good sales guy. It's like it's you in your genes, right? It's like either you pass something to your client, right, and they trust you, or you don't, right? It's not like you can go, right. I mean, especially again, I'm talking about B2B side, right? You can't. It's not like you go to the school, right, learn how to be a great sales guy. I think it's in your. I mean, I think 70% it's your genes, right? Let's say this how you like talk to the client, how you create some kind of trust. I think it's kind of, you know, for me, I think it's really explainable, like why you sell better than someone else. I think it's just like either you're born to be. It's like a musician, right? You can play the guitar, right, but not to be a famous one, right? I think it's something would say that people that talented, right, they get born with something, right, and then that talent, right, pass it to their business or something else. And I think. That's what I think.
I think we have very different answers on this question. So for me, and actually it related to B2B products, but also I think it related to many things in our life. The key thing of a leader or salesperson or marketing person is to create a new world, and then make people believe it's true, and actually make it true. And I think what's really like great salespeople doing, and great again, like it's not just sales is just people who are running in front, but then there are product teams and marketing teams. Is you become to clients saying, hey guys, can you imagine the world is actually different? You can do this, and they say it's impossible, so they don't believe, and we show them, yeah, it is possible. You can try, you can see it, and it works, and that's essentially we start from terrible distrust because they don't believe it's possible, like this new world, this new thing. But then as they try and touch and use and see how it works, it becomes possible, and then that's where the trust comes in. And then because you brought them something that seemed to be impossible but became integral part of their life, integral part of their business processes, that's where like the biggest trust and the biggest, actually it's love. Ultimately, the ultimate level of trust is love, right? And that's what we're looking for. That's how we build it, right?
Actually, for us, trust is the main thing that we are selling, because we are producing the security system, and people should trust to us on all level, on consumer level, installer, security company level, for sure distribution level. And when people started to distribute the product, it is hard decision, because when you make a decision being a consumer, you are spending like $200-500 US. When people make a decision to spend millions on your brand per year, this is really the moment when they need to understand that you will not disappear tomorrow. And for us, actually, at the beginning, we were selling not only the Ajax, we were selling Ukraine as well, because it's quite a strange place, come and buy some hardware, yeah. So we put the key on the map for a lot of our customers. And first, for sure, they were thinking that we do the OEM with something Chinese, etc., etc. And our strategy was being open. So we are very open. We show a lot of figures. You can come anytime to our manufacturing and check something. Here is the CEO. Here is the top management. You can call at night, you can message. So we removed all this corporate bullshit, all this complicated communication. So okay, you give the question and you receive the answer almost immediately. And then for sure, all our customers, they need like half a year or a year to make a decision they want to work with us. Because for them it is a big question. Maybe these people, they will disappear tomorrow, and what they will do with all this shit in the fields and shit, I mean the hardware in the fields. So our deals are quite long. Yeah. So being transparent, and even if you make the mistakes, show the ability to solve these mistakes, because everyone is making mistakes. But not so many people really agree to understand and take money out of the pocket and solve this mistake in the reality. For example, when we just started our brand, we were presenting the extra detector for every failure in the field. So if you have a failure and there is a warranty period, you bring us a failure detector, we give you the new one and one extra. Because you spent some time, you went to the site, you then took away this equipment. So this was one of the trick. But once more, for us, trust is everything, and that is for us is very important. People can see us, because when you're seen somewhere in Argentina, in South Africa, in London, and you have a call with some strange people with Russian accent, and you don't really understand who they are. And when you came to Kyiv, you came to the factory, you see the office, you see the real R&D, you see how many people, what is happening there. This is where trust is appearing. So it doesn't come from zero.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing. I think we can go on for a lot of time, but we are running out of this valuable time. So I will ask last small question to each of you. What is one takeaway from this situation, from this outbreak in quarantine that you will take in your life? It can be something personal or something business related, but what will you take from it? Can you share? Just one.
I can say that like crisis is not the end of the world. I think crisis, it's a potential opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think I learned how amazing my team is, because to be honest, it was very scary for me to, again, we are a startup, so lots of things happening and people are dealing with lots of situations, and I see how people can manage themselves, do it from home, do it remotely, and still, overcome all the things. And this is amazing. So my team is great.
Thank you.
The one thing from 2014, which I got that time, we must make the business geographically independent. And now we must make this business independent from the new customers. So more service-oriented business, and I believe that investors, they will value the businesses who can survive in such a situation much higher comparing to the businesses will be stopped. So like Dmitri business will go with a higher valuation. Ajax business will go with a lower valuation, just because before we have a country risk and now we have a virus risk.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the interesting discussion. It was quite inspiring, and I really enjoyed your optimism and not like giving up on the current outbreak that we are facing. The time will pass, and as we found out, the most important thing which will left is actually not a thing, is people, and this love relationship basically between tech companies and their clients. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.